able to sing, dance, and act. And my whole focus from the moment I saw that was to become one of those performers, one of the performers that can sing, dance, and act. And I couldn't see anything else. Like, I didn't see myself as a doctor. I didn't see myself as anything else other than a performer. And that's exactly what I did. I just kept on. I started going to summer camp when I was young. And, one of the classes were, one day you would go to dance, the next day you would go to karate, and then you would fluctuate like that. I just never went to karate. I just went to dance every single day. So I became, and in the late 70s, early 80s, being a guy and being always in dance surrounded by girls wasn't always a good thing.
Right.
I was always teased, bullied, and all of that. But, that comes with the territory, and I'm sure, the bullies probably are seeing me now and saying, oh, my God, I can't believe it, or, I used to bully him, so,
right.
Yeah, I was definitely one of those kids who were bullied in school.
People don't seem to understand the majority, some, I won't say majority, but you have a lot, some of the entertainers, famous entertainers, that have gone through the same situation because they were unique, they were different, and they were bullied. And
yeah.
And so because of the differenceness, because of the uniqueness, they didn't fit in, and rightfully so. And now these individuals that were bullied and outcast, look at them now, similar to yourself. You're out there, and so now it gives those individuals who want to go into the entertainment business that, there are going to be trials and tribulations, but how bad you want it is up to you. What type of determination you have, motivation, and how bad do you want to have that spot in entertainment?
That is 100% true. It's a lot of bullying, being bullied, especially being young, being bullied really can kind of deter the child or from doing or from, following what they want to do and
right.
be when they grow up, because, there's just too much ridicule.
Correct.
At an early age, with all that ridicule, when it starts, it's going to make you or break you.
Correct.
So you're going to either learn how to have tough skin, or you're just not going to be able to handle the criticism and the teasing and the bullying. I was fortunate enough to not give a damn,
Right.
I was fortunate enough to say, you know what? I'm going to do it regardless. If I have to fight my way through, I'm going to do it, but people are going to know who I am.
Right.
From a very early age, I felt like, I had something special that God gave me,
right.
and I didn't want to waste it. I didn't want to just say, okay, I can sing well, I'm not going to do anything about it. God didn't give me the ability to act, sing, or dance to be shy.
Right.
You understand? He gave me that ability so that I can share it with the world and bring more joy to the world and make people smile. That is my ultimate goal. My whole thing for being in this business is, yes, the money's good, when the money's there and when the jobs are there. But I do it more because I love it.
Right.
I have a burning passion for it. I mean, the fame comes with it, and that's a plus. But that's not the reason why I do it. A lot of people, there are some people that get into the business for whatever reason.
Right.
And I was going to say for all the wrong reasons, but, what may be wrong to me is not wrong for the next person. So there, for me, there really is no right and wrong. It just depends on the individual, because whatever I find right, you can find wrong.
Right.
You understand? But it works for me. So what works for me shouldn't be considered wrong.
So did you have, because of what you did you have the support from your family that helped you along with the bullying and getting to the right place at the right time?
Well, that's a little... Growing up, I have 4 sisters. So growing up, I'm the baby, by the way, and we're all a year apart. I'm the only boy. So I have a sister who is born right before me, and she was like my bodyguard. She never let anyone touch me. She never let anyone tease me. When I told her I was being teased, she would fight the boys. I mean, she was like the ultimate protector, you know. So in that aspect, in the bullying aspect, I was protected by my sister,
Right.
because she didn't allow anyone to, you know, to mess with me, to bother me, to bully me. If someone teased me or hit me or what have you, she would just take care of it, right?
Right.
As far as my career, my mom saw that I was always into dance. She's the one that started me, you know, like pushed me, go ahead, do what you want to do, right? As time passed, you know, as I started going to school and I got older and I started getting work, at first my mom didn't think that there was a real job behind that.
Right.
You know, she didn't know that a lot of money could be made. You know, she just saw it as a hobby because it's something I always enjoyed doing. So at first she was a little, well, listen, you need to get a real job. You need to do this. And I would tell her, this is my job. I'm not doing anything else. I'm not, you know, yes, I've worked in other jobs. I used to be the director of medical billing. I used to work for medical. I used to handle all the grievances. So I used to work the 9 to 5. But in 2006, I made a conscious decision never to work 9 to 5 again, which meant that I needed to make my grind even harder if I wanted to earn money but not work 9 to 5. So I started doing side jobs that included either singing, dancing, or acting. And that's where this big bubble, this big ball was created.
Because you have pretty much expanded from dance to where you've been on several television shows and movies.
Yes. Yeah, I again, it was something that I said, okay, I need to, you know, if I want to be a famous actor, I need to get into that. I need to, you know, put myself in a place where I can expose myself to that so that people can see. So one thing led to another. I don't even know how this happened, but somebody hit me up on Facebook and said, have you ever worked in a movie? And I was like, no. And they said, oh, would you, you know, why don't you you should think about doing it. You know, you have a great look, X, Y, and Z. You know, there's a movie that's being shot. If you'd like to be an extra, you know, just to get your foot wet and start getting. And I was like, okay, cool. So the first movie was actually fighting with Terrence Howard and Channing Tatum. So that was the first movie I ever did, you know, and I was an extra. So I was like, you know, I think I like this, you know, and so I started getting a lot of extra work. And then when I started getting a lot of extra work, the directors, I always made sure that I stood out.
Right.
You know, I always made sure, because listen, life is a stage. It really is. Life itself is a stage. If you want the lead role, you have to stand out.
Correct.
If you want people to recognize you, you have to stand out. You cannot blend in with anybody else. And that's the thing where the tough skin comes in, because when you're different, when you make yourself different or you make yourself stand out from everybody else, people take notice.
Right.
You're going to have those people who do not like you,
right.
do not like your look, who think you're ugly, who think whatever. And then you have the hordes of people who are just like loving you,
right.
you know? So it comes with that. So when I decided that I could do this, I started putting myself out there. And then I started, once I was on set, I was making sure that I looked different. The reactions on my face was different, that I always stood serious, or I always stood alone. And directors took notice of that. And they started saying, okay, I like this guy. I like his look. I like, you know, he's really serious. So they started putting me as featured roles, featured extras, standing next to the main bad guy, doing, you know, those camera shots where they put the camera on my face, I show expression. So I started doing those kind of things. And then slowly I started, getting speaking roles and then auditioning for like the ID channel shows and the So, and then I started, and everything I auditioned for, I started landing. Every time I went to an audition, I got the job. Because my frame of mind in there is more like when I go to an audition, I don't expect to not get the role.
There you go.
Not so much because I think I'm better than everybody else, but you have to walk in. It's a vibration. So you walk in with that mentality, you're going to come out the winning party.
Correct.
Period. And so every time I go into an audition, I go with the expectations of getting the role. If I don't get the role, then I don't get it. I don't get disappointed. I don't get discouraged. I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. Next, on to the next one. Because for every no, there's 10 yeses.
And people have to understand that in entertainment, because I've heard people saying that, well, I don't want to be a stand-in or an extra. But they don't seem to understand that you can actually progress from just being an extra. Because, like you were saying, if you stand out, if you have something that's totally different about you, that's totally putting a spotlight on you, people are watching you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then if the director handpicks you, then that's perfect, because now that director is going to work on other films and is going to work on other things, and they're going to remember you and say, okay, this is one guy that I just worked with a couple of sets ago. See if we can get him. He'll be perfect for this part. And you'll skip the auditions and you skip stuff like that because you leave an impression with the director. You always try to befriend the ADs and always be polite. Always, you got dues to pay before you can.
Right.
Yeah, you have those lucky ones where they could just be standing in the street and an agent walk up to them and say, oh, my God, we want to sign you right now. We don't know what you did, but you're perfect. Right. And so, unfortunately, I'm not one of those. I wish I was. And to this day, I always imagine I'm standing waiting for something and someone comes up to me. But I don't depend on that.
Right.
I've always learned to grind for mine. And so that's what I do. If something comes, like I'm so used to grinding that if something comes to me that easy where someone would walk up to me and say, oh, my God, we want to sign you, without knowing anything about me, I'll probably find that fishy at first.
Right.
You understand? Because there's always a process. And I'm so used to going through the process that if I were to skip the process, I'd be like, is this even real?
Right.
Because I've never experienced that.
And plus, every interview that you go to is a learning experience anyway. So if by chance the reading didn't go properly, you learn something from that individual that you were reading before. So it's just a learning process because each one has their own interpretation.
Yep, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with being rejected.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with not landing the role. It doesn't mean you weren't good enough.
Right.
It just means that it wasn't meant for you.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like things are done with a purpose. God gives us what he knows we need, not what we want.
Right.
And so people get that confused. And so, good thing is that I have, I can separate that. I know what's what. And, I'm a very vibration person. I'm a vibe person, aura. I'm into the whole, that whole thing. So I can just feel it. I know when something's right or when something's not good.
So you listen to your gut?
Always. Always. Even if I don't understand it, even if it's a little confusing, even if it's scary.
Right.
As long as I'm not going to get hurt or I'm not hurting anybody else, I will try it.
Right.
Because you can't say you don't like something without trying it first.
Right. And everybody has to understand most of the stuff is subjective. So if one director doesn't see something in you, there's going to be another director that will see something in you. So you like you were saying that for every rejection, there's a learning experience. So you're learning exactly how to read people because while you're reading, while you're pretty much acting in front of these individuals, you're watching their expressions, you're watching their body language. So that way you're getting something like a repertoire in your head. So that way when you go to a reading and you see these things, you pretty much can either maneuver or you can change up so that way you're better seen in a better view.
absolutely, absolutely, 100%.
Because people don't. There's been, I know of 6 actors that have really made it big. That when they started out, they've had directors to tell them, "You can't act. You're too ugly. We don't know why you're here. You can't sing." But now these individuals are major actors. We're talking. So these individuals that told you initially that, well, you can't make it, you don't go by what they say. That's subjective. They don't know you at that point. In entertainment, like you say, in entertainment business, you have to be thick-skinned. You have to. You cannot be this little wimpy individual, because if you want to be seen, some parts you have to be arrogant, you have to be pompous to the point to where you're still professional, and that you can still be seen, and something makes you stand out, and that's what makes you.
Yeah, right, and one thing that people also need to understand is that sometimes the higher-ups purposely say and do things to see how you react.
Oh, wow.
To see, they will purposely, some of them will test to see how thick your skin is.
Yes, sir.
If they see that you're easily swallowed up, they're not going to invest in you.
Right.
They want to see somebody who they know can handle criticism, can handle, being under pressure.
Right.
You understand? And if you can't, then why would I want to invest $1 million in somebody who will be able to, who would give up fairly quickly because a group of people don't like the song,
right,
or don't like the movie? I'm not going to throw away money like that if I'm not going to get it back and then some.
Correct.
That's just me as an agent, as a person, as a company, an entity, an organization, whatever it is. It's just like any job. No, when you go interview for a regular 9-to-5 job, the company or the hiring party is not going to hire somebody that they can't depend on.
Right.
They're not going to hire somebody who's not going to get the job done. And with the job comes a lot of meetings, comes a lot of arguing, going back and forth just to get to the same place. And it's the same thing with the music industry. The music industry or the film industry or agents or managers are not going to, invest in you if you don't have thick skin.
Right. Because that's your worth. That's you have to first of all believe in yourself.
Right. You're your own brand.
That's it. And see,
that's it.
See, that's it. People, because when we think about brands, we think about when it comes to food, clothing and stuff like. But you're the brand. You're the product. Mm-hmm. It's your name. Mm-hmm. It's you out there. And if you can't sell yourself, who's going to invest in you? If you're not investing in yourself, who's going to invest in you?
Exactly. I remember one of my sisters was like, when the whole Instagram and all the social media became really prominent, as you see in my Instagram, I do a lot of self-promotion. I do a lot of, I promote myself. I promote what I'm doing. I promote songs. I help people promote their stuff. So she asked me, in the beginning, she was like, I don't understand why you keep posting stuff about yourself and you don't have nobody else on your social media. So I responded to her because I am promoting my brand. I am my brand. You don't understand because you're not in the business.
Right.
But I am my brand. I choose not to have a PR person. I choose not to have certain individuals who can do that for me. I do it myself.
Right.
And why not? You understand? When you do the things that I do, you have to promote yourself. If I had a team, you'd be seeing more stuff of me because not only would I be posting, but so would they.
Right.
So you would be saturated with my stuff. She goes, yeah, but to me, I it kind of looks a little arrogant. I'm like, it's not that it's arrogant. Again, if I was on there trying to, I think arrogance is when you post things and you're showing your body and you're showing, and you're doing more nudity. You want to call it art. That kind of stuff to me is attention seekers.
Right.
What I do is not that. What I do is promote myself. I've had many people say, my God, you're popping up on my FYP page, for your page on TikTok, what do?
See?
My triple threat FRISCO hashtag has been seen over 380,000 times and has been shared. So people see that, and the more people see, the more they're like, who is this guy? And they search for you, and that's where people start looking and start seeing, oh my God, I never even heard of him, but look at him, he's done X, Y, and Z. And that's how you gain organic followers. And so when I broke it down to my sister, she was like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, and an average person wouldn't. A person who doesn't understand what social media really is supposed to be. Social media is supposed to be about promoting your business.
Correct.
That was the whole purpose of social media, promoting, networking, and all of that. Then it became this whole other thing, where people are showing bodies and showing, asses and all kind of stuff. And it's like, you can tell when it's art, and you can tell when they're just trying to be cute.
Exactly.
And so I don't, I started off, not understanding social media, so I would be posting anything, But then once I saw that, I started picking up a lot of work and people are noticing me in the street and stuff, I had to pull back and revamp and say, okay, this is what I need to do. And so, for years, I've been doing what I'm supposed to on social media.
Selling yourself.
Yeah, basically, because you got to do that. As a brand, you got to sell it. You got to, whatever catches the eye, so long as it's done respectfully, tastefully, and you do it with a purpose. You don't do it just to be cute.
Correct.
Some people want to do that, and that's okay with that. That's okay for them.
Right.
I personally don't choose to do those things.
Correct. Which brings back another part. People don't seem to understand that when you are a screenwriter or when you're an actor, that's your job. That's your career. And as with any job, as with any career, you have a salary, you have benefits, which comes down now because, see, I don't think people really understand the gravity of this strike with the screenwriters and when it comes to the actors. I don't think they really understand the entire package because they were saying that, okay, what? But they don't seem to understand that behind the scenes are those individuals that have created what we watch.
Correct.
And so go ahead, with you being part of that union, can you explain to us the impact or the importance or the gravity of exactly what's happening?
Yeah. So the writers and the actors for the first time in 60 years are striking at the same time. The last time this happened was when Ronald Reagan, for those who know and those who don't know, you'll know now. When Ronald Reagan was an actor, he became president of the SAG Foundation back in 1960. And so a strike like this hasn't happened since he was president of SAG. What's happening is that the larger, so we're now living in an age where the streaming platforms have become very prominent. It's actually kind of taken over people going to the movies. You still have those individuals who go to the movies, but streaming people, people have now gotten used to the streaming platforms. So they rather stay in the comfort of their home, safety issues, just a whole bunch of different reasons why they don't go to the movies anymore. So there's this thing called residuals. Residuals is how the actor actually makes money. So, yes, an average actor will, what they call a day player. A day player is someone who's in one episode or maybe two episodes, and that's it. Not a recurring actor or not one of the main actors, but someone who appears on let's say, Law and Order. Like, let's say you see Taylor Swift in one of the episodes. She's considered a day player. Okay. So day players are grinders as well. Just because you see them in an episode of Law and Order or any other movie or show, it doesn't mean they're rich, one.
Right.
And it doesn't mean they're famous. That could have been the first time they're on a national network.
Right.
It could, so they're just getting in the door. So they struggle and they grind for their next dollar, right? So when, for instance, Law and Order, if I appear on Law and Order today, like the episode airs, then of course I get, I've gotten paid for that episode. And then next week on Saturday, they play it again. You know how they do the repeats.
Right.
I get paid for that, for them showing it again. So every time they show that episode, no matter what network is on, whether it's on TV Land for like reruns or, just the Wii channel where they always play, where they bought the older episodes and you happen to be in the, so no matter what network is played on, we get a check for that. That's how actors make money for the rest of their lives. Every time something's replayed, they will receive money for that.
Right.
So now that the streaming platforms have taken over, there's no real way to pay the actors every time the movie is watched. There's no real residual, structure.
Right, right.
Because it's a streaming platform. This has never happened before. The TV and movies is different because that's something that's been happening for decades.
Right.
But there's no real way to kind of, count or pay the actors for the movies that's being streamed that they're in. So the platforms, the streaming platforms like Paramount Plus, Netflix, you got, Amazon Prime. So all of those, what's happening is that they're showing the movies or the shows, but they're not paying the actors the residuals for every time it's being played.
So who's getting paid for that?
So only the network.
See?
The streaming platforms are getting paid.
Right.
Nobody else is getting paid but them, because you have to also remember, you got 50 million people who have just subscribed to Paramount Plus.
Yes, sir.
And if my movie's on there and you're watching my movie, you got 50 million people. You have to assume that 50 million people are watching your movie.
Correct. Right.
Where's my money for them playing it?
Right.
For them seeing me? Where's my residual? In order for us to get benefits from our, from SAG-AFTRA, we have to make at least $25,000 a year. That doesn't happen when you're a day player.
Right.
That doesn't happen when you're an extra. That only happens if you're a lead, if you're Queen Latifah, if you're, Lucy Liu on Elementary, if you're, so that only happens when you're a big star. Viola Davis in How Do I Get Away with Murder? So when you're the lead in a show, that happens for them. Right. It doesn't happen for us who are up and coming, for us who are, trying to get our foot up there. If you're not giving us our residuals, we can't eat. We can't pay our rent. You understand? And so because the streaming platforms are making billions and billions of dollars and they're not paying the actors and they're not paying the writers that are writing those shows that are on their platform. So why are you going to continue to work for someone who's not paying you? Because no one. I don't care if you're in corporate. I don't care if you're in medical. If you're working with a company that you're going to work every single day and you're not getting paid what you're supposed to, you're going to either quit or strike.
That's it.
So the writers went on strike first. Then here comes SAG. SAG then informs their members, listen, SAG-AFTRA, they were like, listen, we may be going on strike too. We want to know you guys as our union members, which is over 180,000 union members. We would like your support. Are you okay with us going on strike if we had to fight for our rights? So, of course, we're going to say yes. So we're asking the major platforms to give us an 11% increase in our salary on the front of the contract.
11%.
That's not talking about residuals.
Only 11%.
Only 11% considering how much they're making.
Correct. Which isn't.
They counter offered to. They said no. They'll give us 5% for the first year, 4% the next year, and 3.5% the third year. SAG said absolutely not.
Rightfully so.
Absolutely not. You give us 11%, you're making billions and billions of dollars off of the work that we're creating for you.
Correct. Without
us, you will not have anything on your platform. So why aren't you sharing a percentage of what you're getting? We're not asking for 50%. We're not asking for 30%.
11.
We're asking for 11% increase on the upfront. That's not counting the residuals that we're asking for.
Y'all haven't even hit the residuals yet. You're just
right. That still needs to be figured out.
Right.
How they're going to,
and it can be
calculate that.
And it can be. It can be figured out.
It can. It'll take a little bit because it's so new and it's, they don't know how to, or they're figuring out how to. So it'll take a minute, but yes, it will be figured out because it needs to work into it needs to be worked into any contract that, the Association of Motion Picture and Television Producers have with SAG. They have to. It's got to be there. So they're not, they're not budging. They're not trying to budge. They're saying that we're asking for too much. That doesn't even make sense. And let me tell you, the impact that this has on our culture is catastrophic.
Yes, sir.
Because if we stop filming altogether, just imagine this. Imagine the world without any entertainment on television.
Man.
Imagine turning on the TV and all you see is news. And there's no sort of outlet for entertainment. Imagine the world like that right now.
Right.
That will have a global impact, not just in our country. It'll be a global impact if television is not as we know it.
Yes, sir.
If we have no more movies, no more shows, no more any activities, anything.
Right.
Can you imagine how miserable? Look how people got during COVID.
See?
And there was television.
Exactly.
Imagine there was no television.
Ooh.
People will go insane.
Yes, sir.
In this world. So that's the impact for those who don't understand how the gravity of not having entertainment.
Right.
It also has a major impact in our economy.
Yes, sir.
Everything would just be crazier than what it is already.
Right. Now, is it incorrect to think that with these streaming platforms, the streaming platforms are owned by the studios themselves?
Mm-hmm.
So
the studio producers.
So people need to understand that the streaming that you see, the streaming platforms, are not independently owned. These are owned by the studios.
Yes, by major studios.
By major studios.
You have Paramount Plus, that comes from Paramount.
See?
You have Prime, that comes from Amazon. These are just these are just a few.
Yes, sir.
You got HBO, you got ABC, and then you got the regular TV, the TV channels, and you've got all the regular networks.
What's it?
Hulu?
So you got
you got Hulu, you got Pluto, you got Roku,
sir.
you got, the list goes on, and every day there's a new streaming platform.
Yes, sir. And they're connected to the studios.
They're all connected to the studios. Why do you think that sometimes you'll see that when a new movie's coming out, they'll say it's being released in theaters and on Paramount Plus at the same time?
And sometimes it's only on the streaming. Sometimes they don't even do the theaters no more, which means it's like what you were saying, the economy. You're impacting the theater goers. You're impacting the individuals that own the theaters.
Yep. Because then if we don't get no theater goers, what happens to the theaters?
See? They're
going to have to close down because nobody is going to them, right? Now imagine wanting to see a movie, and you turn on the TV and it's blank. It's just news, or it's just, like Home Shopping Network or something to that effect, and there's no type of movie. I mean, that it just, it's deadly. It's deadly to the economy. It's deadly to the actors for their careers. It's deadly for the writers who write the shows. I mean, it's not good for anyone all around. It's not even good for the studios.
No.
For those major networks. It's not good for them to be doing what they're doing. They know that. So, as of 12 hours ago, the writers, the WGA, the Writers Guild Association, is going back to the table with the producers on Friday to start negotiating again. Because the producers are starting to see this is going to be crazy if we don't give them what they want. Look at your bank account, big guys. Look at the rest of our bank account. You're making money off of us, and you're not giving us $5. Right. You're not giving us, you know what I'm saying? You're not giving us a cup of water, basically, if we want to simplify it.
Right.
I'm working on your yard. I'm making your yard beautiful, and you're not even offering me water in this hot, sunny day.
See?
Am I going to continue to make your project or the front of your house look amazing?
No.
Absolutely not. Not when it's 106 degrees outside.
Thank you.
That's how simple I can break it down.
And people have to also look to see exactly who are the individuals that own these studios. There's a reason why everything is going on the way that it is. Because I would wager that those same individuals, that same group that are the owners of the studios, are also the same individuals that belong to the same group that head the music industry. So it's always interconnected. There's a reason for it.
Yes.
Now I'm not saying anything against any certain group. All I'm saying is, if you really want to get down to the rawness of everything, look at the group, look at the individuals, that the owners of the studios, that are the CEOs of the music industry. And don't be surprised when you find out who these individuals are, and please do not be surprised when you find out they are family members. They are connected.
Yes. Okay. Perfect example. Sony Music is connected to Sony Pictures.
See?
Perfect example.
Yes, sir.
Sony Pictures does a movie. Sony Music is already looking at which artist is going to do the theme song for that movie.
See?
You understand? So everything is connected. There's, it's like an arm and fingers and forearm. Everything's connected through ligaments and stuff, right? That's the same way it is for the music industry and the movie industry. Same exact way. Everything's connected some way, somehow.
And all you're asking for is just 11%. And that does not include the residual. Just 11%.
Right, that's not including residuals. Just 11% out of your 100 that you're making. We're only asking for 11. And you have a problem with that? That's not good. Because you have to give us enough money that if we're working on 12 pictures or 12 movies or 12 shows in a year, we can make that $25,000.
See?
So that we can have health benefits.
Right.
We're actors. We get sick. You see us on TV just because we're famous or we're going to be famous or whatever. We're not. We're human beings. We get sick. We need benefits. Just like a corporate job, just like a medical job. We need benefits. And you can't make benefits with a you don't have health insurance with a part-time job.
Thank you.
You have health insurance with a full-time job.
But see, we equate being famous with being rich. That's not true.
That is not true. There are singers, there are actors, I think I was reading, I don't know if it was The Rock or somebody, was, it was Jason Momoa. He was literally living in his car when he was filming his first movie that he got on the map. He was like, during filming, I was going back, to my car when I got home from being on location and living in my car before he got with Lisa Bonet.
See?
So just because you're on TV and you see people on TV and they're great and they're doing it, Unless you see them every time you turn the channel in a different movie, we're grinding just like the next person.
Right. And you may have 3 or 4 things in play to make ends meet.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, right now you have actors, famous actors, who are taking side jobs like cleaning houses, cleaning mansions,
Doing
working on
commercials.
cars, doing commercials, just doing like the oddest jobs that they haven't done in decades. They're doing it now because this shutdown has really affected every one of us. Every single one of us.
Because of greed. And you said it's been 60 years. I'm 63 years old. So that's not long ago. That's not long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So people have to understand that you cannot take individuals for granted.
You can't.
And that's what exactly is happening.
One hand washes the other.
Yes, sir.
That's how it is. You can only wash, but so good with one hand.
Yes, sir.
You can only reach certain places with one hand.
These individuals,
if you have both,
these individuals have become greedy. They have become pompous. They have come to, I'm hoping, some type of realization that you may think that you have us now, but we can strike, because that's what they're hoping, that, well, this is just one of these things that, the teenagers are mad, but once they see that they're not getting any pay, they're going to come back. Well, we lies.
That's not the case with us. There's power in numbers, and 180,000 members.
Yes.
Rallying in front of all of these. Like right now, we have picket locations. Right now, they're picketing in front of HBO. They're picketing in front of Paramount Pictures. They're picketing in front of Netflix. They're picketing, and there's like everywhere in the city where there's a major network, we're picketing right in front, because it's not fair that you're making billions and we are still trying to get the next dollar. You're literally getting checks from your checks.
See?
You're getting interest checks from the money that you're making.
Off of somebody else.
So you're getting double the money, triple the money, and you're not giving us a cup of water?
Thank you.
That is crazy.
Yes, sir.
That is crazy, and there's no way that we're going to continue to make extravagant work for them without them meeting us halfway.
Correct. So what can we do as viewers, as participants, who homeowners and whatever, watching these shows? What can we do? What can we do to help the screenwriters, that we can help the artists? What can we do?
You guys can just, like, literally, you guys, I mean, for those who can, donations would be good. Just hashtagging, Together We Stand, hashtagging SAG-AFTRA strike, all of that behind all of whatever social posting you're doing, whether you're a member or not, shows support and solidarity with us.
Yes,
you understand? It shows everyone. It shows, wow, even the viewers who are not members are aware and the impact that this have, and they're not for it. So we need to help. We need to move. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes,
we just need a lot of hashtagging, a lot of tweeting, a lot of threading, because now we have Thread. So a lot of threading, a lot of, just posts, and just hashtag Together We Stand in solidarity, SAG-AFTRA strike, those kind of things. I mean, there's a lots and lots of hashtags, but the most important ones are Together We Stand, Together in Solidarity, and SAG-AFTRA strike. That helps. That helps a lot. People may think that, but it's just a tweet, it's just a thread, but it actually helps. It really does. So long as you hashtag it,
yes, sir,
it'll be seen. It'll be seen. The world will see it. They'll understand more. They'll see the impact. I try to simplify it as much as I could, by letting them know it's like working on a yard. Let's say you were in Texas in the 110-degree weather, and you're working on 4 people's yard, and each one of them are coming back to you saying, okay, you charge $300, but they're coming back with $75.
See?
You're not going to do that.
No.
You understand? That's not what you want.
No.
You're out there sweating. You're out there giving your best, trying to produce the best picture and the best outcome, only to get slapped in the face by giving us half a cup of water instead of a full cup. That just doesn't work.
If you don't mind DM me, so that way I know exactly what the hashtags are, so from now on I can hashtag.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then that way I can post it on my pages, so that way I can get it out there. Man, I appreciate you. Man,
Thank you so much. Thank you. This was a great talk. It was great. I'm glad. Thank you for allowing me to get the message out there, you know, on the severity of the strike. Hopefully, you know, people just jump on the bandwagon and just, you know, support us in any way possible. You know, it's you know, we all need help. You know,
right.
We all help each other, and that's what it's about. It's about helping each other and thriving together. You know, and not stepping on anyone's neck.
That's it.
You know, or kneeing anyone on their neck.
Right. And
stopping their breath, because that just doesn't work.
There you go. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at The True Frisco. You can find me on TikTok, FRISCO COSME. You can find me on Twitter, Frisco, the number 4 and the letter U, Frisco for you. You can find me on Facebook, FRISCO COSME. You can find me on the streaming platforms, on any streaming platform that you, music platform that you guys download your music. Please download Palm Reader.
And you have another video out too, right? You have another video, correct?
Music video?
Yes, sir. Don't you have another video out?
No, I have several videos, but that's actually of me performing on tour that I've been on tour now. So that's also out there. You guys can check that out. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is FRISCO COSME. And yeah, just follow me on social media, and let's keep in touch and stay on top of everything that I'm doing and what's going on with this world and the acting and the entertainment industry. And I'll try to keep you guys posted as much as I can.
And you got you got your own page too, don't you? Don't you have
my own webpage?
Yes.
Yeah, it's called, it's www.palmreadersingle.com.
There you go. Man, I appreciate you. Man, I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, OZZz. You are the best. You know, it's great finally speaking to you.
Yes, sir.
And us doing this together, you know, because, you know, together we stand, right?
Platform's open to you. Anytime you need to be on the show, just call me. I can arrange everything, my schedule around your schedule, because I know with you acting and all that, anything that you do, I can arrange around you. So my platform is open to you or any of your friends and all that you recommend. I'm here for you. Just let me know what I can do, and I'm here for you.
Thank you so much, OZZz. I really appreciate you. You're the best. Continue great success with your show.
Thanks so much.
It's great. It's always great to be the number one.
Yes, sir.
So congratulations on being the number one online radio in Alabama. So
yes,
keep doing it. Keep doing your magic and keep spreading the love. And we'll talk soon.
Appreciate you. Take care of yourself. Have a wonderful Wednesday, man.
You as well.
Take care.
Bye.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. So you already know what you can do. I will post the hashtags out so that way everybody will know exactly what's what. So please check him out. FRISCO COSME. Also download his single, Palm Reader. Share it. So I appreciate y'all stepping in. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Know your value, know your worth, know that you are the one that creates all obstacles, and know that you're wonderful. And I will see you Friday. And most importantly, know that I love you more than I love my luggage. I'll see you Friday. Take care. The live stream on the show. On the show. The live stream. On the show. stream. The live stream on the show.